All right, Moats, I picked the topic Tuesday.
All right.
Bigger crowd this weekend at Paul Brown Stadium. Saturday, Louisville, UC, or Bengals and Indy?
You know, it's interesting. The Colts and Louisville, kind of similar boats, both about 100 miles away, both fan bases that travel well to Cincinnati historically, but both bad seasons so far. I am going to guess UC and Louisville. I think the novelty is still there. Not only UC playing in Paul Brown Stadium for the third time ever, but a rivalry game. I'm going to say the novelty is there for Louisville fans. Frankly, I don't know how many times the Cardinals have played in an NFL stadium, and so I think that adds to it. I think UC and Louisville do better than 50,000. I think the Bengals and Colts do about 50,000. Now, if the Sunday game draws more, I won't be, A, disappointed or B, surprised. But I'm going to guess Cincinnati and Louisville. I think the Cardinal fans are going to be more willing to travel than Indy fans. And, again, the novelty, I'm going to guess Saturday's game gets more people.
Okay, maybe early, but Sunday's game must win?
For this season, yes. Look, I know this season's about kind of the big picture and development and how you feel about this team heading into next year and the guys you want to build around. But for this season, if we want them viable in November and December, you've got to win. Number one, can you imagine losing at home to an 0-5 Indy team with 2 weeks to think about it? Brutal. Plus, next 4 games after Sunday, at Seattle, tough out. At Tennessee, tough out. Then Pittsburgh and Baltimore. You don't want to be 3-3 heading into that stretch. The Steelers and Ravens play a bunch of easy teams too, so if you want the next 2 months to mean something, and I'm not even going to talk about playoffs, if you want relevance in 2011, you have to beat a winless Colts team in your own building in a game that you're favored to win.
On to the Reds.
Okay?
Should they shop Joey Votto?
Should they shop him? No. But should they be willing to listen? Absolutely. Walt Jocketty's not doing his job if he's not listening to offers. Nothing is more important to the long-term and short-term success of this team than what happens with Joey Votto. They should be actively trying to get him to sign a long-term deal, and if he doesn't want to do that, that's fine. But if a team wants to pick up the phone and call the Reds and offer something in return that could help them both now and tomorrow, the Reds are foolish to not at least listen. Doesn't mean you have to pull the trigger. They just should be listening, and if Walt Jocketty is not, then he's not doing his job.
Okay, last question.
Okay?
Your thoughts on the Big East mess?
You know, look, I know a lot's at stake here, and I know a lot is at stake for UC, and they're in an unenviable position, very uncertain position. UC plays Louisville on Saturday. Here's how it's going to be for the Bearcats. I'm going to root for UC football and basketball and the other teams for that matter, no matter where they play. I'm going to hope they win on Saturdays in football. I want them to win 20 to 25 games in basketball, and I hope the other sports do well, including Brian Cleary's baseball team. It's less than desirable. The Big 12 doesn't do it for me because of the money. I don't know how it works. The teams that the Big East is talking about bringing in, who cares about East Carolina and Central Florida? Sorry. And so I guess the way I've decided to approach it is I'm rooting for UC to win. If they're in the Big 12, I'm rooting for UC to win. And I understand the limitations. And if they're in the Big East, I'm rooting for UC to win. And I hope they can figure out a way to keep their BCS status. If they're in another league, I'm rooting for UC to win. We have a game on Saturday to wrap our brains around, and I look forward to those. Figuring out who's in what. Look, I've already forgotten that Colorado's in the Pac-12. I need constant reminders who's in the Legends or Leagues divisions of the Big Ten. UC plays Louisville on Saturday. It's the Big East opener. There's still a conference title to play for this year, and the road starts at Paul Brown Stadium. So to hell with conference realignment for a while because I can't keep track of it. Go Bearcats. See ya.